Hello there, YouTube. This is the Rogue Gem Player here, and I'm coming at you with a Ragnaraika Ogdoadic deck profile. This is an update from my old list. The deck has changed a little bit, enough that I can justify redoing it, and just giving my 2 cents in the deck now that, it's not like 1 week after the set comes out, and I'm trying to, explain every card in this deck. So the deck has gained a couple cards. It's gained a new monster, a new trap, a new link monster. And just the way the deck operates has changed. The deck is a lot more streamlined than it already is. And it's just kind of one of those, the deck has changed. To summarize, the deck has changed quite a bit. So let's start with the Ragnaraika stuff. We're going to start with 3 copies of Evil Seed. So Evil Seed is the one card if you draw it and you have the way to special summoning it, you go into it. Otherwise, you summon it through the Ogdoadic combo, through Serpentine Princess, which gives you more link material to get into more plays. So it also gets you in your Bloom and stuff like that. And then for the other ones, we're playing 2 copies of Wicked Butterfly. This is the brand new main deck monster from Info. It allows you to ditch itself to special a tri-type from hand, and then if it's from banished from hand or graveyard, you can, at the end phase after you've activated this effect, draw cards equal to the number of monster types of insect, plant, or reptile, or different types on board. So you can draw 1, 2 cards, maybe even 3 sometimes, and because of the way because you're banished, you can banish it for things like your Mantis Monk and stuff like that. You get free 2 to 3 draws, which allows you to go into your non-engine really well. So if you play a lot of non-engine, you can use that to get into it. Not to mention, it is in the Ragnaraika monster you can search. We're then playing 2 copies of Samurai Beetle. Beetle is pretty good. I like playing 2 copies of it instead of the 1, because if you wanted to play 1, you could. But I like the ability to just have 1 in hand, so you can, shuffle something back, summon it. It's just, and then the ability to, when it's used for link material, to bring back another monster. So it just gives you more link material, allows you to link climb and things like that, so you can go into other stuff. So, and then the last Ragnarika monster we're playing is the 1 copy of Armored Lizard, because it is a reptile that you can send off of Snake Rain. Also, it is another extender if it's in your hand. So, for the Ogdoadic stuff, or the snakes, or the reptile stuff, we're playing 2 copies of Nunu, 2 copies of Nauya. You can play 3 copies of one or the other if you really wanted to, and then we're playing 1 copy of Curse. So the idea is that you're sending 1 of each of these and then a copy of Night Sword Serpent in order to effectively create a board that still gets to something, and then it goes into Planet Balut and Virus and things like that. And then the last main deck monster is Serpentine Princess. This is the reprint, by the way, from the OTS pack 25. So it's, if you want to play a modern version of it. If you have an old common one, it's still fine. But this is that's the main engine. That's all there is to it. For the non-engine, we're playing 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 3 copies of Nibiru, 1 copy of Effect Veiler, 1 copy of Droll and Lockbird. The reason why we're playing this hand trap lineup is, 1, we're playing Cross-Eyed Designator. You can make the Nibiru as anything else you want. I like playing this lineup because Nibiru actually has some really good matchups against Rogue, because they just kind of don't play. They don't really try to play around it. Whereas most modern decks kind of try to. Once a format has established itself, it's basically play around the Nibiru no matter what, unless your opponent is dumb. So that's all the monsters. For spells, we're playing 3 copies of Ragnaraika Bloom, which is your Rhoda / recursion card. Basically, you can add a Ragnaraika card and then discard a card, or you special in a Ragnaraika monster from your hand, graveyard, or banished in defense. So it allows you to recur a monster. And it's also searchable off of the Evil Seed, which is pretty important, because Evil Seed can actually set this card up instantly. By adding both Bloom and Samurai Beetle, banishing the Beetle, and then using Bloom to bring back the Beetle. We're then playing 3 copies of Snake Rain. This is a Foolish Burial for 4 monsters. The reason I'm surprised this card is not banned, well, then again, the type itself is not ridiculous, but the fact of the matter is this card just gives you so much advantage that it's very hard to stop. Not to mention that even if they do try to negate it, you're discarding, you're losing 2 cards, but they're gonna want to stop this, and we play enough non-engine, and we play enough of the non-engine stuff in here to kind of try and stop it. So the last kind of engine requirement cards, we're playing 1 copy of Ogdoadic Daybreak, which you absolutely need to turn the cures into the tokens necessary to link climb. And then we're playing 3 copies of Crossout Designator and 1 copy of Called by the Grave to round up the hand trap, to round out the non-engine spells. You need this in order to ensure that your plays go through. For traps, we're playing 1 copy of Hunting Dance and 1 copy of Wisteria of Woe. So, Hunting Dance allows you to blow up cards up to the number of different types, and then you can, banish it to destroy a card your target monster your opponent controls and destroy it if it's in the graveyard. Wisteria of Woe is a trap monster that, if you control a link monster, allows you to DD Crow 2 cards on resolution of its summon, and then during the end phase, if it's in your graveyard or in the banished, you can shuffle back 2 cards, 2 of the tri-types, back into your deck, and then set this card. So even if you end up having to be forced to banish it, or if you lose it, you can still shuffle it back. You can still shuffle material back and set it, and it is still a monster. It is still a level 4 monster, so you can still make rank 4s if you really wanted to. We're then playing the 1 copy of Planet Pollutant Virus to go with the Alien combo, and then we're playing 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence to round off our trap lineup. So that's pretty standard for a deck like this. You can play other things. You can play a bigger lineup, or you can play different hand traps, that type of thing. So we're going to start with, for the Link monsters, we're going to start with 3 copies of Ragnaraika Skeletal Soldier. So Skeletal Soldier is pretty good for link climbing, but the only problem with this card is that, unlike the other Ragnaraika links, if you use any of his effects, he Xenolocks you the entire turn instead of after that effect has been used. So keep that in mind if you try to splash him into other things, because Skeletal Soldier does lock you for the entire turn rather than just after its effect has been used. So it kind of hurts sometimes where you're forced to make multiples of these but not actually resolve it, because it is a link 2 that's semi-generic, at least with the types. So, and you go through a lot of them. You go through pretty much 2 of them every major combo, and then we're playing for the link 3s, 1 Sleene Snapper and the 1 Mantis Monk. These are they banish material, or banish tri-type monsters in your graveyard to do effects. This destroys spell traps. This allows you to add a Ragnarika trap, which is usually going to be Hunting Dance, and then they both have their own, shuffle monster back to summon itself. We're then playing 2 Chain Coils and then 2 copies of Stag Sovereign to round off the Ragnarika Link monsters. You pretty much have to go into these. You go into this because it stops hand traps. This is because it's more disruption, because you can blow up more things. And all the Ragnarika monsters allow you to bounce a tri-type back into the deck, or to the bottom, shuffle them to the bottom of the deck in order to summon them. So keep that in mind. We're then playing 1 Echidna, 1 Lizard Dose, which allows you to draw a card if you banish a reptile. Zealantis, there's a combo line that if you go into this, you can just kind of nuke your opponent's board, as long as it's not one of the 3 types, because you go under a Xenolock. We play 1 Bangalancer. So the idea with this card is, it's not necessarily you're trying to summon it and then keep it half the time, but you actually want to push it into the graveyard so that you can bring it back, because now your opponent, it's actually cards in the graveyard in certain circumstances are a lot harder to get rid of. So keep that in mind. So we then play 1 copy of King of the Feral Imps, 1 copy of Cosmic Slicer Zerol, and the 1 copy of Alien Shock Trooper Endframe, and that is for the Alien Plant and Pollutant Virus combo, because you do have to go into Endframe in order to, and then into and summon both of these in order to kind of resolve it, because you have to tribute a alien monster for it, and this is the only extra deck one that we have available at the moment in time. So But other than that, it's a pretty cool. It's a cool deck. It's a little budget. You know, it's kind of one of those. It's neat to have from time to time, and not to mention that every single time we get new reptile, insect, and plant support, these cards go up. You know, these cards become relevant. You know, Skeletal Soldier is a plant that you can make multiples of very easily, so making Bengal Lancer is really easy. There's just a lot of generic cards in the game that can go into this. Not to mention, yes, it's not it's not as it's a lot more restrictive than the Tri Brigade stuff, but they do have their own kind of niche and they're really cool. So let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.